there is that phosphor group, there is that sugar group, and then now we go all the way up and down and have as many as you want. You see? So here's the sugar, here are the phosphor, the sugar, phosphor, the sugar. So what happens is you set up by a skeleton, which you do hang on, then whatever you need on the A's and the T's and the A's and the T's and the C's and the G's. And they can, again, they can go any which one way as the body needs. See? So, now here, just to convince you that is really what happens. You see, here's one which gets below. You see what happened is still, that correlation still exists. There's still an A, T, a C, G, T, A. And it pulled apart, and here you get a much more, a stronger part. But all of it is doable. That the knots are together with hard bonds like hydrogen, for instance. What's a hard bond? You have in your stomach one of the hardest molecules there is, and that's hydrochloric acid, right? And so or there's sodium nitrates and potassium. You are supposed to even eat that. You're supposed to be part of your daily diet. You're going to eat these fundamental molecules because of what you eat. Okay. So now, obviously, this is you the minute. Aren't you impressed? Aren't you impressed about yourself? Because that's what you are. Okay? So now, maybe I'll tell you a little bit of how this was all found. The first part is that there was a very famous chemist in Caltech, and Mr. Pauling, and obviously these problems were known to the public at large, and they, everybody, including us here at UT, we were fighting, and still do after you know now the recipe, right? Now, how many cakes can you bake if I give you flour and some butter and whipped cream and just the two to ask my wife? 10,000, and I ate them all. Okay, so what happens is there's a rich variety, and if the basic pattern, you can do this here. So then, how the hell, this is where they whipped it open, so that we get two of them. And this is one. Okay, so there was the first ones which had, I think he writes like that, and what? So there were two British men, and they were the first one who had the guts to say, Pauling was the Newton of those days. When what he said, you better believe. I knew him and he was here. This is now all in my lifetime. Okay? And when you're on this way, he stabbed you. And then finally, this guy, by doing, you see what happened is these molecules live in solution. They swim around. And they get a structure of a molecule who swims around in motion, in vibration motion. Every atom from the next atom vibrates. Is a hell of a problem. And so what happened is to swim closer, they packed them together. We call these crystals. But the crystals of organic molecules is close to impossible. But they managed somehow to get some near order, and so the Fink and Watson postulated, I don't know, he was with me, and got the Nobel Prize for that. Okay, so now everybody else wanted more. and so there was, and I don't actually know why, but there is in Washington a Navy base, right? And the Navy base, they actually were most interested of making better batteries. You know what? They're still, this is 30 years ago. Today, they're still there, and they still want to make better batteries. Because that's our problem is not solved. You can work on that and get rich and make donations to me. And they too had interests. And so there was a guy, his name was Jerome. A-A-R-L-E, Carl. And he obviously working on their stuff too. And slowly they came closer and closer to making at least some stuff which grew together. It was more like a rubber band. And so again, you know, the word was around, you're an idiot, this is not solvable, and we need to remember, the computer, as we know it today, didn't exist, right? And then finally, one day, that Carl had 4 daughters and a wife. And one day, they made a marker and could at least shoot X-rays. And so what happened is, if you take an ordered system like this is, take an ordered system and you shoot X-rays against them, then what happened is you get an interference pattern. I think we talked about interference and how then you get in certain directions you get dots, and in other directions where they don't have this regularity, you get voids. So you get a dot void pattern, right? Now, in a crystal, in every crystal, everything vibrates. Okay? You can't stop it. You don't want to stop it because you're dead. So what happened is these are these vibrations in your body, but they're only that much. So they're not, you know, destructive. They're just, and what happened is, when you get burned with your finger, nothing else, that these vibrations got so strong that it broke, right? So to keep your finger in order. So finally, they got their first order to see dots. And then this guy's, which I always, Carl's wife, one day, you know, after maybe having a nice evening with his family, had this, you know, you have that too, a light went up. And she says, I try tomorrow something totally different. And in that thing is, she put the first double